Good evening. Two men were fatally shot in Hendon, Norwood last night. They have been identified as 31-year-old Delano Christie, otherwise called Weddy, a shopkeeper of Hacker Street in Hendon, Norwood, and 26-year-old Jordan Brown, otherwise called O'Dane, unemployed, also of Hendon, Norwood. Mr. Christie's 9-month-old daughter was also shot and injured during the incident, along with a 48-year-old construction worker, a 23-year-old male, and another 25-year-old construction worker, all of Hacker Street. Reports coming into our news center are that at about 8:15 p.m., patrons were at the shop along Hacker Street operated by Christie when two armed men approached them and opened gunfire. The men then ran from the area on foot. Now, following an investigation, it was discovered that all 5 men, along with 9-month-old Delani Christie, who was in her father's arms, had been shot. The victims were rushed to the hospital, where Christie and Brown were pronounced dead, and the other victims treated and admitted. Donna Barker, mother of 23-year-old Brown, described her son as a jovial person and how she is coping with his loss.
He's just a jovial person. He's just kind to everybody. Don't give no trouble. Just home by the shop. The other guy was there with him is a film shop and then just out there playing Ludi. Damn you know. And they come shoot up the shop last night. Him and Weddy never make it. Never make it.
How is the community and the family? How you coping? How you getting along?
Yeah. He cope alright, you know, because my friend them come look for me and so forth. And alright. So far it's good.
Your son had any children?
No.
How many children for you?
7.
Okay.
And he's the second to last. He just come like say mommy wash belly. Don't give no trouble.
In other news tonight, the body of an unidentified man was found on the Palisadoes main road yesterday. Reports from the Elliston Road Police are that at about 12:45 p.m., passers-by stumbled upon the body and summoned the police. Upon the arrival of the law enforcement officers, the decomposing body of the now deceased was seen lying on the roadway. The scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue. Investigations are ongoing. Still tonight, supporters of the People's National Party, PNP, yesterday protested outside the offices of the Ministry of Health and Wellness in New Kingston over the deaths of 12 babies at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital in Kingston from a bacterial infection. The protesters were continuing calls for the resignation of Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton. However, Dr. Tufton and other top health officials were not inside the offices, but were instead at the AC Marriott Hotel for the National Research Conference. Among those leading the protests was opposition leader and president of the PNP, Mark Golding. In his address to the protesters, he said Dr. Tufton should resign or be removed from the health portfolio.
The call for Dr. Tufton to resign or to be removed from the portfolio. Not only did this outbreak of an infection which led to the lives of many babies occur under his watch again, but armed with that information, he decided to keep it to himself. And as a result of that, parents who could have made a decision to go to another facility to have their baby went to the Victoria Jubilee, and some of them got infected, the mothers and the babies, and died. And he must be held accountable for that. That was the wrong decision because it caused lives. He also told Parliament dishonestly that it was the PNP that was fabricating a story about dogs outside the KPH eating dead babies that had been improperly disposed of there. When that matter was investigated, by the Southeast Regional Health Authority, and I believe at least 3 employees were interdicted because of that. And he told Parliament that it was a fabrication on social media and that the opposition was the source of it, which is a complete lie. Tufton must go.
Mr. Golding chided Dr. Tufton on other issues he believes warrants his removal from office.
We also want to know about the $400 million of public resources which have been misappropriated or otherwise dealt with improperly in his ministry during the pandemic, for which there has been no proper accountability. And most recently, he lent his name to the attempted revival of the political fortunes of George Wright in central Westmoreland, saying that we should not judge him. This is a man, George Wright, caught on video, which he has never denied, beating up a woman badly with a stool in a public place. He has never apologized to the people of Jamaica, to the women of Jamaica, publicly for this abominable conduct. And here we have Christopher Tufton as a Minister of Health and Wellness attempting to revive the image and reputation of this woman beater. Tufton, you have lost your moral compass. You must go.
Meanwhile, in response to journalists on the issue of crime, opposition spokesman on finance and senior member of the PNP, Julian Robinson, says the PNP had the murder rate at the lowest until the JLP-led government took office.
Well, you know, if you look at the murder rate over the 4 years that the PNP held office from 2012 to 2016, it has been lower than any of the years since this government has been in office. You can't be in office, you can't be at the wicket for 7 years and you're still blaming the previous party. It's like, as a man, you take up a lady, right? And you are with the lady for 7 years and you still blame the ex-man for what going on. They have been in office for 7 years. They must take responsibility for their actions. Of the last 15 years, the JLP has been in office for 11 of those 15 years. And they don't have a plan to deal with crime. And so what they're resorting to is blaming the opposition for their lack of plan and for crime being totally out of control. It is a fool argument.
Continuing with the news tonight, in their first operation since the announcement of a state of public emergency, the St. Catherine South Police on Tuesday seized an illegal handgun and several rounds of ammunition on Port Henderson Road in the parish. Reports coming in to our news center are that at about 9:10 a.m., a joint police-military team conducted an intelligence-led operation in the area. A building was targeted and searched. However, the occupants fled, leaving behind a Pierto Beretta 9mm pistol loaded with 13 9mm rounds. The investigation is ongoing, and the police are encouraging persons to share information on illegal guns, gunmen, and gangs by calling the NIB tip line at 811, Crime Stop at 311, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. Still making Mello TV news tonight, several hoteliers across the parish of Westmoreland have indicated that they have embraced the government's decision to declare a state of emergency within the parish. One such hotelier, Richard Wallace, who operates the Boardwalk Resorts along Norman Manley Boulevard in Negril, who is also the president of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, said they have always welcomed the SOEs that were implemented to bring crime down, especially murders.
So the first thing I want to say is that I was very surprised this morning when it was announced because, you know, we had no inclination that this was going to happen again. However, you know, we have always welcomed the SOEs that were implemented to bring crime down, bring murders down, because, you know, when murders increase, it affects all of us, it affects all businesses. So, you know, and murders have been on the increase over the past few months, the past year or so. I'm happy that the government is responding, with something to pull the numbers back down. So, we always welcome the SOE, and the Negril Chamber has been advocating for a more security presence in Negril, because our numbers are low right now, and we even went as far as to suggest that if we have soldiers in Negril, we don't see that as a problem because for tourism, because many places across the world that you go, you arrive at certain airports and you see the military there, and it's not a problem. There are military personnel at several tourist attractions across the world. So tourists don't necessarily get alarmed by it. They understand the times that we're living in, and so they actually feel safer when they see, security presence, a strong security presence around. So I don't believe that this will have a negative effect on tourism or the business. It might very well have the opposite.
Mr. Wallace further stated that there will be inconveniences. However, it will be good for the parish.
There will be inconveniences, and it's the price you pay for the situation that we're in. Nobody wants us to be in this situation. I'm sure the government doesn't want to have to call a SOE. But if the citizens of the country keep killing each other the way they are, then something has to be done. And there will be inconveniences, for some of us, some more than others. But, as they say, the good suffers for the bad.
So you welcome the SOE?
We welcome it, and we wish it success. We hope that it will reduce crime, reduce murders, and it will bring some kind of peace. We've been, every single day you look at the news and it's murder after murder after murder. It's frightening. It's really, I mean, a lot of people are numb to it now, but it is a serious issue that we have in this country. And if SOEs are what works to reduce it, then let's use the tools that we have. Let's use what we have, that will do the job. Because otherwise, what are the options? Just leaving it alone and letting it continue? No, that's not an option.
Continuing with the news tonight, opposition spokesman on national security, Senator Peter Bunting, says the use of states of public emergencies, SOPEs, to address crime in the country represents a bankruptcy of ideas by the government. SOEs were Tuesday morning declared in 7 areas across the country to include Clarendon, St. Catherine, sections of Kingston and St. Andrew, Hanover, St. James and Westmoreland. An increase in criminal activities was listed as the reason motivating the declaration. But Bunting says implementing SOEs in Kingston and St. Andrew isn't justifiable as there's been a decrease in violent crimes. Bunting says the announcement of the SOEs was expected. However, he notes that the security measure remains unconstitutional. The opposition spokesman says the government has failed to manage the high levels of crime in the country. Still tonight, the National Water Commission, NWC, is denying rumors being circulated on social media of a strike at the company. NWC said the claim is entirely mischievous as there is absolutely no truth to the declaration. NWC's Manager of Corporate Communications, Andrew Cannon, said members of the public should ignore the claim.
This is an era where misinformation is being used as a weapon in the public sphere. Therefore, it is very important that members of the public and the valued customers of the NWC pay attention to information that will be coming from the NWC or from news organizations such as, Mello FM, and also that when they look at these items, they see, for example, the what they call the letterhead from where it is coming, or that it is somehow representative of the media host or from the NWC. So, for example, When we send out a release, it would have the NWC logo or stamp on it. And I'm sure at Mello FM, when things are sent out, it will have the Mello FM stamp, or they will have the reporter signing out, or something where it can be checked. This grossly misinformed item going around, it has no such thing. Although there may not even be a date on it or anything like that. So those things are red flags, all right? So customers and the public should just look out for items only from the NWC or from reputable media houses, because there are persons who want to spread mischief. So there's absolutely no truth to workers going on strike from the NWC.
And those are the stories making news. I am Shelley Hill. Do stay safe, pleasant viewing, and thanks for watching.